Welcome to the After Dark podcast with Anthony James and Konrad. This is an extra episode for your YouTube comments because Anthony James and Konrad could not stop rambling on. What a pair of schmucks.
Hello and welcome to the After Dark podcast. I'm Anthony James and that's Konrad. How are you, Konrad?
Hello.
I skipped you.
You did. I was ready. I just had to hold it and be like, here I am.
Nothing but professionalism around here.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm doing well. How are you?
Very, very good. Very good. Very excited about this season. What
a season.
What a season. I thought I would use this moment at the very beginning of this sort of question and answers video, because I know the people who listen to these question and answers videos, they're the hardcore After Dark podcast listeners. So I thought, Konrad, now we're not going to give any proper details, but I thought we would start to float the idea to them that maybe we have a different project in the works.
That's my I don't even know what emotion I'm trying to convey by doing that, but it's something.
So
trepidation.
Yeah, so basically all I wanted to say was, guys, Konrad and I have been talking and we just love having the banter. And I know that there's a lot of our listeners who enjoy those aspects to our podcast as well. So as well as continuing on to look at series that Konrad has never seen, I'm going to lead him through those, we were thinking about in the future, and it's hopefully soon in the future, we're thinking about it a lot, having a new podcast where it is more focused. Now, we're not going to give any specifics because we don't really know them ourselves, but it's going to be more focused on just talking, and it's going to be focused on films and movies, and we're just going to, basically all the little bits of the After Dark podcast where we just sort of go off on one, we're going to try and put that in a different thing. You know what I mean?
The bits that everyone dislikes.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna silo that off into its own podcast, so you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, so you'll learn about a bit more about that soon, hopefully. But I thought I'd start floating that idea, Konrad. What do you think?
Yeah, it's out there. It's in the ether, and it's real now. Our words have given it form. And now let it take shape in the minds of our listeners.
Yeah, and also just as a little announcement, I'm announcing an announcement. I'm thinking we're going to announce what our next series we're going to do once we've fully nailed it. We're going to announce that around halfway through season 3. I'll announce what we're going to do. And we'll do that with a little separate video, a little trailer. Or it's not really a show, it's more of an announcement video to announce what we're doing next. So look out for that. People keep throwing hundreds or tens, I should say, of not hundreds, tens of suggestions in the comments saying you could do this, you could do Leftovers, you could do this. All great shows. We haven't seen them all, obviously, but all great shows. So we are going to disappoint someone. We're going to disappoint someone with the show we choose. Just bear in mind, if the next series goes well, maybe we'll come around to one of those ones. But I like the idea of choosing a show which a lot of people maybe didn't watch yet, which means that they get to choose whether they want to be an Anthony or Konrad. That's what I like.
Yeah, watch along with us. But if the next one goes well, then there's no reason why there won't be more afterwards as well. I don't want to commit us to it, but I think that's generally the plan. If people stick with us.
If it goes well, it goes well. Also, if you're going to be worried that you're going to miss Konrad talking all about Dark, I'm still going to bring him on every now and then to Dark discussions. Don't you worry.
I'll be here.
This man is not going anywhere. Anyway, after that long sort of newsy segment, make sure you subscribe to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on audio apps. Send us an email if you want, adpodmail@gmail.com. Audio app listeners, if you want to ask Konrad a question, that's the best place to do it. Also, make sure you leave a comment on the episode on Monday for any questions you have for season 3, episode 3. Yeah, that's right, in terms of the timeline. All right, let's get into the questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
The timeline of the After Dark podcast is just as confusing as Dark. But anyway, we'll see.
We're in our third cycle.
Yeah, we're in our third cycle. We are. All right, let's go.
A stranger from the outside.
First question. Comes from Master on your North. Jeez, Master on your North. I'm including you this week. I think I cut you out a few weeks ago. I was very harsh to do that. I'm sorry. You were a very loyal listener. I should never have done that to you. I'll ask your questions this week. So, what does Konrad think about Eva being introduced so early in season 3? And what's the deal with her scar?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that in the main episode, but Alt Marta shows up in 1888 with a cut on her cheek that she didn't have when she left Jonas. So I don't know what she did in between leaving Jonas and turning up in 1888, but it involved getting cut. Presumably that's the scar that Master Onion North is talking about.
Did she not have a cut in the cave at the start of the show? Didn't she?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure she didn't. Unless
So
maybe I missed it. But
she's gonna pick that up somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been off getting in scrapes.
I think what Master Onion North is referring to is that there was a scar on Eva's eye.
Oh, I didn't actually notice that, to be honest. But yeah, I kind of expected her to turn up because she's. I put two and two together with a female voice doing the Adam speech from season 2 in the beginning of this episode. I was like, okay, well that's Eve, so we're probably going to meet her in this episode, or at least in the next couple of episodes.
Also, Master Onion North has just spoiled the fact that it's Eve, by the way. But
I mean, I'd kind of already. Yeah. I'd already called her.
Kind
Eve
of the
Francisca
is in the 20s thing that I did. It's kind of
like, I mean, if there's an Adam, it stands to reason there's an Eve, and you know, like I feel like when Jonas stopped existing, all that the sort of dramatic and theatrical flair that Adam would have for naming things was kind of imbued into Marta, so she'd end up having some of it. As to the scar, though, yeah, I didn't honestly notice it, but maybe it's the beginning of her body breaking down from repeated time travel, like Adam has mentioned previously. She certainly doesn't look as bad as Adam does. So yeah, there are some differences between them in that respect.
Well, the journey scars each in their own way. You know, whatever you want to take from that.
That's very profound.
Well, that's me. So, any thoughts on why Alt Marta came to rescue Jonas and then brought him to her world? Her timing seems... Oh, I love this. This is a great little phrase here. Her timing seems very timely.
Yes. Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, she knew she needed to do it, right? Like, that's kind of what I alluded to at the beginning of last week's episode. Or this week's episode. I've got to get my timing right. Monday's episode. Because she says that she needs him to meet her, or she's brought him back to the day that they first met, because she's off to try and fix things, and she needs their meeting to happen. So it's to me, it's yet another example of a character being determined to preserve their timeline or their personal continuity, so that they themselves are in a position to fix things. Which, given how well that's gone for every other character who's operated on those kind of parameters, it makes me question how successful she's going to be.
Interesting. Okay. Next question from Kurt. And Kurt says...
Hi, Kurt.
What happened to Bartos's hair?
Oh, he saw... I suppose it is 20... Well, let's assume American Psycho came out in this continuity. The Matrix didn't, but American Psycho did. He saw that and took the wrong message from it. It was like, this Patrick Bateman guy, he might be a psychopath and a murderer, but he's got great hair.
Yeah. That's the message I took from it.
Yeah, what other message could you possibly take from it? Don't feed dogs to ATM machines is potentially...
I've never done that.
No, nor have I, for the record.
Yeah, yet.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Kurt. So Stuart Whiting says, general question for you both at the end of season 2. I'm throwing a dinner party, and I give you a time machine which can take you anywhere and any time we've been in the dark timeline, with instructions to bring back 3 party guests, a la Bill and Ted's Adventure, including the same character from different timelines if we want. Who are you bringing and why? I like this because it's not the same as the question, who's your favourite characters? I like that it's like now a dinner party.
So dinner party, I'm definitely going to bring 2019 Katerina, because she was the life of that party. She'd be great fun. Mm-hmm. So I've got the laughs covered. I'm going to bring H.G. Tannhaus. 80s H.G. Tannhaus, because he'd be great. He'd be really interesting to talk to. And I'm gonna bring Eric Obendorf for drugs.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I'm going to bring Elizabeth at age child.
I was gonna say 2052 Elizabeth.
No.
She wouldn't be great.
Now, well, maybe I could have. You see where I'm going with this. I'm going to bring Elizabeth at age child. I'm going to 12 or whatever she is. I'm going to bring Noah in his in his priest time, right?
Oh,
and then
no.
I'm also going to bring Yasin.
Great choice.
And I'm gonna I'm a man for a bit of an awkward atmosphere. You know, I'm just gonna watch and see how now Noah and Yasin converse. You know, because I'm assuming Noah can do sign language, because you know he got to know.
Well, he wouldn't need to with Yasin.
Yeah, that's true, and Elizabeth as well. But you know, I would hope that they would all speak in sign language. So I would just see like Noah like furiously signing at Yasin, and I'm just sitting there like, this is a great time.
That'd be the most uncomfortable dinner party anyone has ever been to, because it would be like this really horrible love triangle between a man in his late 40s and two 12-year-olds.
Yeah. Which stuff dreams are made of.
It just erases all. The police would be there in minutes.
Yeah, and then I'll just use the time machine and skip away on.
Yeah. So long, suckers.
Catch a priest with 2 young children. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. Thanks, Stuart. That's a great question. Next, Pello Stable says, "Hi, love the podcast, but I've never commented before." Well, you have now. Thank you for commenting. What does Konrad think about the 3 who destroy the Sigmundus lair? What are their goals? Do they belong to a side? Claudia, Adams, others. Much love from Norway. Thank you. What do you think?
Thank you very much. Yeah, so there are the cleanup crew. I've dubbed them the CUC, and they are there. They're like Winston Wolfe in Pulp Fiction, or more. Actually, not like him, because he's more charming and less murderous. Basically, I think they're there to just tie up all loose ends, make sure no one gets a leg up by accessing any of the information that Sigmundus had. So, you know, they're burning all the Sigmundus information on time machines. They're murdering Bernd. They're probably going to come for Middle Claudia, I guess, at some point, assuming they know where she is. I just think they're a right set of bastards, and and I can't wait to see where we go with them, because they feel very threatening immediately.
Yeah. Yo, everybody in the CUC, put your motherfucking hands up and follow me. Now that he stands tough, notice that Adam does not put his hand up. All right, okay.
Well done.
Thank you. So, MH says, in both of your opinion, I'm getting included in so many today. Which character seems the most different in the parallel world? First of all, Magnus seems a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say Magnus. I think Magnus is
Charlotte
a lot more.
too, I would imagine. So,
yeah. Do you think Charlotte's that different?
I mean, well, we did
She's a bit less awkward.
I did a Dark Discussions episode with Ema, and Ema completely convinced me that the alternate Charlotte is different in the way that she holds herself. The fact that she didn't aspire or she didn't reach the goal of being the chief of police, it changes her. And the fact that she's the one cheating on her husband, it is.
Yeah, there are definitely different. I feel like she definitely carries herself slightly more confidently. Maybe it's just with Magnus, it's kind of quite. Maybe it says something about me that I'm a bit more simplistic, but because it's quite surface level differences, like black hair covered in tattoos, that stood out to me as well.
Then by that regard, you could go to Elizabeth is very different. She can speak, and Franziska can't. So.
Yeah, Franziska and Elizabeth have a pretty profound difference. I think I'm still going to go with Magnus, though, because his character's very different, too. He's a lot more confident and cocky. He has a lot more of his dad in him, for better or for worse. Yeah. Mainly for worse, in the alternate reality.
Yeah, okay. MH says, again, what might have happened differently in their life for them to become that way? Okay, so we've already sort of mentioned that a little bit. Magnus just really likes rock music, so
yeah, he just got really into Motley Crue at a young age.
Yeah, but also like the divorce of his parents, I'm sure, changed him a little bit as well.
Yeah, it toughens him up.
Yeah. So Joseph Rolf says, who are the trio? I was hoping someone would mention this, because you didn't actually ever allude to who they might be. So who are the trio? or the CEC.
The reason I didn't allude to who they are is because we see them in every stage, so they're not someone we've met before.
So there you go. There you go. You didn't mention that at all, and I was waiting. I didn't want to say anything about it. You didn't mention that you assumed and like that they were three people, like the three versions of one person.
Oh, well, I thought it was. I kind of thought it was obvious because they all have the same scar. Like.
But to be honest with you, that might be an easy theory point because it is going to be revealed, even though it's come on, it's I don't know. I'll give you it if you want it, but
I mean, I'll put it on. Listen,
but you didn't mention that once, so I was really afraid.
Oh no! I mean, I was just like, oh well, they all obviously have the same. Like, I mean, they literally when they murder Byrne, the listeners won't be able to see, but they all do like this at the same time with their hands. Like they're like the goddamn, the twins in Matrix Reloaded who have like the fight with Morpheus on top of a truck. That's what they're like. It's just like they're so obviously the same person. But I'll put it in the Matrix.
Yeah.
I'll pop it in.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you sort of are assuming that because I can now say this to you, which might just be a confirmation of it. To be honest with you, that might already be confirmation of it. The actor who plays the middle one and the actor who plays the old one are actually father and son in real life.
Ah, that's cool. Yeah, that. I mean, it's funny you say that actually because they do look alike, but to me, the middle one and the youngest one looked most like each other. They have very similar eyes. Maybe that's in their performance because they play it in this sort of like really like wide-eyed, unblinking way that's really really creepy.
They only had to get one extra. They only had to get one that looked like the two of them because they were like father and son. So they did a good job as well because they all do look really.
Yeah, no, that's they're all great. As to who they actually are, though, I mean, I guess I assume they're working with Sigmundus. I can't even really begin to guess what character they might be because they're clearly not a character we've met at any point. So they're going to be someone's father or someone's son who's just been cast to the side and roped into the Sigmundus stuff, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting as well because we didn't actually say this in the main episode, but I thought it's really cool. Like season 2 of Dark and season 3 of Dark. I think I mentioned it in the very first episode of season 2, but it's a very real thing that in TV shows, at the very beginning of a new season, you introduce new characters. So in the first one, we got Noah killing the one who looks like Bartos, and this one we got the trio. So they're actually known. If you look at the what do you call it? The credits of the show. They're known as the Unknown.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's what they're sort of old unknown, middle unknown, whatever. That's the credits in the thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sort of torn on them. On one hand, I really want to know loads about them, but on the other hand, I kind of love the mystery that shrouds them because it just makes them so much more threatening. Oh
yeah, like that middle-aged one is so evil looking.
Yeah, just turns up and garrots Byrne without while talking about nothing being wasted, like talking in these cryptic terms. Yeah, they're awesome. While the youngest one just steals one of his apples.
Yeah. Well, again, more Adam and Eve symbolism, really.
Yeah. Although, who has apples in their hallway? Just a bowl of apples.
Yeah, I know.
Put in the kitchen.
How many of them is he going to be eating?
Yeah.
Just on his way down to watch TV in the lounge room, he's picking
an apple up. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, so Jamie Jet asks, what was Konrad's reaction when Torben ended up being revealed with? Okay, what was Konrad's reaction when Torben ended up being revealed as the big bad for the season?
I knew it would be him.
It's obvious.
Conspicuous by his abs. Yeah, it's just like like Voller is Odin and is the All Father and controls all of this. I was very pleased to see him turn back up in this season, though. Talking relatively seriously,
yeah.
And I love that him being the source of comedy once again with his missing arm.
I think it actually alludes to the true nature or the true history of how he only has one eye, because I imagine like in Adam's world, he was faced with a choice. He had to sacrifice an eye to become the genuine, loving, a little bit mischievous. Let's be honest, with Alexander Tiedemann.
Yeah, he's a rapscallion.
Yeah, he's a rapscallion. But he didn't end the world. This is Torben. He's the big bad in season 3. Two-Eye Torben is the one to watch out for. He didn't make the sacrifice.
Yeah. No, he lost his arm in a duel with Regina and and has sworn revenge ever since. And they're gonna have that fight atop a volcano
Yeah.
at the end of season 3, which I can't wait for.
Yeah, that's
There are plenty of volcanoes in like the middle of Germany, right?
Yeah, but there's not many with cesium 137, and that's what makes this one special.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So Bill Ross asks, "What is Stranger Jonas working on? An ice maker? Jump-starting future technology?"
Oh, he's building the damn time machine that they're going to have in their temple eventually. But he's doing it with like Tesla coils and stuff, because I think Nikola Tesla would have still been alive in 1888. I can't remember when he died, but it's all crazy Frankenstein technology in there. So I don't know how successful he's going to be, and the fact that Magnus and Franziska appear to age up from 1888 to the age that they are when we saw them in 1920 makes me think he's not going to be successful.
Fair enough. Also, Bill, I just want to say I wasn't saying this until now because I really wanted you to be yelling at us saying, "How didn't you know?" I got the Dr. Emmett Brown making ice reference. I got the reference. He wanted to know if he's making a refrigerator because that's what he makes in 1885 in Back to the Future.
Oh, this is the part where I reveal that I've only seen Back to the Future 3 like once, and that was a long time ago.
But that's all right. I wanted to keep Bill stringing along there. I can just imagine him being like, "You fools, you fools!" And then finally rip the tablecloth from under him. I knew all along. That was a great reference. All right, Pep Cool asks, not a question. Oh, sorry. I should really read this before. Sorry, I introduced that wrong. Pep Cool says,
nice.
Not a question, but I'm expecting for the episode 3.1 podcast a reversal of roles. I want Alt Konrad to ask Alt Anthony questions and his opinion about the episode. Yeah, I probably should have read that before.
I don't know how to do. I can't really do Alt Konrad. I need to fake a beard or something. Just
little teardrop, I think.
Yeah, a little teardrop tattoo.
Yeah.
Put my tattoos on the other side. Yeah. What did you think of the episode?
I mean, it's all right. I don't think I'd watch it again.
Yeah, it was rubbish.
Yeah, it was, what is this?
There you go. This is the alternate reality we live in, where neither of us like dark.
Yeah, but I didn't actually understand what was going on because, is it in another language or something? Because they seem to be speaking gibberish. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't like things that are referential to 80s horror movies. Yeah. And I refuse to read subtitles.
Yeah, that basically sums me up as well.
Yep.
This is terrible. The casting in this show is terrible too, right? Anyway.
Yeah, awful.
Okay, so AK asks, now that we know the world without Jonas, Claudia was talking about, actually exists, what about the world without Vindan? Oh, good question.
That's a good point. Maybe it does exist. I mean, so to give a brief glimpse into my mind, we know that Alt Marta has met Jonas before, because she had to bring him to the point where he would meet her and do all that stuff.
Yeah, well, we saw them meet in this episode. Yeah,
but the meeting that happened before that, like who was it that she met? Because it wasn't this Jonas.
Explain to me that.
Well, so she's already lived that experience. She's already met him. So are you suggesting this is like a bootstrap paradox where she has to bring him to meet her so that she can be alive to bring him to meet her?
Well, at this stage in the show, that's what I would assume. That's what I assume everything is. Like when someone takes you somewhere and says you need to do this, I'm assuming, that they need to do it. Yeah. So
okay, that doesn't make sense,
I've explained to you my idea of cycles before. I'm not going to get fully into it again, but the idea is that so just because we didn't see it, like when she was referring to it before, I believe anyway at this point, whatever you want to say, I believe that when she said I've met you before or whatever, she was talking about the same guy 3 hours in the future.
Okay, that does make sense. Fair enough. Because what I was going to say was that, and I guess I can still kind of say this, is that the implication that there might be other Jonases out there implies that there are other worlds that we haven't seen or won't ever see in this show. The idea that these like worlds could echo on infinitely, basically. So there could be a world without Vindan. There could be a world where something crazy happens and Vindan just gets turned into a hole in the ground earlier, and everything changes as a result.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Not for the people in Vindan, but for everyone else, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Marvin asks, are you expecting any characters to meet their alt selves?
Oh, it has to happen at some point, right? Like, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
It would probably. I mean, I feel like if you met your alt self, that would create the biggest of all paradoxes, and probably like cause an explosion of some kind. But I want to see Peter Doppler meeting his alt self and doing the old like moving the hands in front of each other thing that we talked about in the first season to see if it's a reflection or not. So yeah, I hope so.
Yep, awesome. Andrew Butler asks, thanks for the reply, Anthony. No problem. I'm really enjoying Konrad's theory matrix. Oh, maybe actually, I think this is just a. All right, there's no questions here. Anyway,
So it's
Andrew,
a compliment.
Thanks for. No, we were chatting in the comments and I accidentally read it. Thanks, Andrew.
Okay.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
Atahan for Konrad. Who do you think Hannah's unborn child would be? So we've talked about this a little bit. I think you actually put in the theory matrix that you thought it was going to be Peter.
Yeah, I said it was going to be Peter Doppler.
So we've done that one. Why do you think the entire episode was spent introducing a new world rather than building on the cliffhangers from season 2, episode 8?
Well, there isn't really any. Is the thing. I mean, everyone's dead, right? Like we know like we have the 80 and 88 guys. They're still alive. I guess the Sigmundus guys went somewhere. We don't know where they've gone, but they've run off, and I guess we could still show stuff in the 50s and the 80s, but they've expanded the knot that they refer to, right? Like, so like previously you had all these timelines or all these periods within the same timeline kind of knotted together, and then suddenly they introduce alternate matter and they expand the complexity of it to the nth degree, because now you have all those timelines in another those time periods in another timeline as well. I think realistically the alternate timeline is the only place they could have gone with this, because you can't at the end of a season be like, oh, by the way, alternate timeline, there you go, and then in the next episode not show it. It would be so unsatisfying if they'd have done that.
That was the biggest cliffhanger at the end of season 2. So like they did spend time on the biggest one, let's be honest. So Adahan then asks me, basically saying, we talked about my season 2 was my favorite if I have to choose one. Having seen this episode though, I don't know if I would like, I haven't watched season 3 as much as I have the other ones. Maybe I'll change my mind after watching this one again with Konrad, but definitely at the minute still season 2 I would go back and rewatch. But anyway, so they Adahan asks, which episodes of season 3 are your favorite? So this is a hard one, but I suppose I did say season 2, episode 6. I predicted that for Konrad. I'm not going to front load anything this season too much because of the effect it had on Konrad last time. Even though I don't think that was me, but still, I would probably. There's a load of good episodes in this. I can't even say. I think 4 till the end. Yeah, it's just so good. It's just so good. I can't say it. I'm not going to say any more. I don't know if I could pick an episode, to be honest with you. It's just so bloody good.
Well, we started well.
We have started well. All right, Stu says, so this is not a question, but my speculation about the comment mentioning Konrad's A-level German, GCSE German, I think the person probably meant A-level as in the international grading, which means A2. Oh, okay. This is funny. So Stu's pointing out that basically when they said A-level, maybe they weren't talking about actual A-level in terms of what we think A-levels are. Apparently the international grading system goes A1, A2, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, like that. And A1
for languages.
Well, I think just, I don't know if it's the languages or just everything.
Okay.
So A1 is the worst. So when they said you have
nice.
When they said you have A-level,
maybe I do.
Yeah, maybe you do. Yeah. So that's actually, it was a slagging, but we actually thought they were giving you a compliment.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I deserve it. My German is not good.
We live in an alt world now, so flip the script on us, guys. Keep doing it. So Stu then actually asks the question, says, now that his Marta is dead, do you think Jonas will get a new love interest or companion in season 3? meaning we'll get a new main character, or will he be a lone traveler?
No, I think he's going to get up to his old tricks with Alt Marta. That's my
not technically my auntie this time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm allowed this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see him getting away from that romance. It's so central to his character that I'd be surprised. I do feel like at some point in this, Jonas will have a child, just to really complicate matters. I thought it was going to be the baby that I suspected he had with regular Marta, but I mean I'm only kind of half regular Marta, yeah, like diet Marta and regular Marta. Yeah. But I mean I'm not that confident in that one. Yeah, new Marta. I'm not that confident in that theory though, because it does rest upon this 3-month period where we weren't seeing her, where she could have potentially had a baby, and then no one mentioning it, and us not seeing the physical signs of it in her before that at all. So I mean maybe he will have sex with someone else and have a baby with them, but I don't think it's going to be a serious romance. I think Marta is his romantic interest in this show, and I'd be surprised if he moved away from that.
Okay, so am I right in thinking, based on that, you're predicting that Jonas will have a child?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Jonas will have a child at some point in this.
Okay, and so you think that Stranger has had a child, or you think that's going to be a different thing?
I don't know if he knows about it. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think Stranger could have had a child, but I don't think Jonas knows about it.
Okay. Well, there's no committal theory there, but once you come to a sort of if you want to put down just that Jonas has a child, that might be the theory. Don't go too detailed in it, because you know how those detailed theories have ended up in the past.
If I go super detailed, they become like unmanageable, and it's a good way for me to get myself an orange. That's what I've learned.
That's true. Okay, thanks, Stu. Beatrice says, Konrad, welcome to Season 3. I can't wait for the next set of big moments. My question is, at the end of Season 2, Konrad's theory was that the appearance of Alt Marta was a completely new thing, and the Stranger's reaction to seeing her in the episode seems to corroborate that. On the other hand, Old Marta's reaction to Jonas, she says, I've waited a long time for you to come back, seems to indicate that he has been there before. And she, so that was Old Marta, who we now know is Eva because of someone ruining it, but at the same time you knew it already. Didn't mean to sound harsh there, but anyway, so Old...
Yeah, nice job ruining it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. I put on an act of being nice, but I'm really, really terrible. Yeah. So Old Marta's reaction to Jonas seems to indicate that he has been there before, and she meeting him is not new for her. So which is it? Which one is it? Is it a new development in the cycle, or has this all happened before? Was she maybe talking about some other Jonas? Did she meet him on different circumstances in a previous cycle? What is Konrad's current theory?
Well, I mean, talking to you about it has helped me kind of get it straight in my head, because I was thinking along the same lines, you know, like she's met a Jonas before, it can't have been this one because this is the first time he has been to this alternate reality. Mm-hmm. But thinking of it in terms of cycles, Alt Marta has brought him here to meet her and start that process, so everything he's done from this point onwards, even though it's the first time we're seeing him do it and it's the first time that he is experiencing it himself, it has, because he is now doing it, it has happened over and over again as part of this kind of cyclical chain of events.
That doesn't mean though that the Stranger did experience it. So that
I don't think the Stranger did. I'm almost certain the Stranger never did experience this, but because I guess, like, in my head now, the way cycles work is that even though the way the events with young Jonas are being presented is that this is the first time this has happened, by virtue of the cyclical nature of these events, they have now always happened this way. Mm-hmm. But it just didn't affect the Stranger in that way, because that cycle didn't exist when he was young Jonas, if that makes sense.
That does make sense to me. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows what is going to go on with these guys now, frankly. I have, like, all of my theories are so, like, just broad at the moment, because I just don't know what they're going to do with this alternate reality now.
It's all open. So Next question from Brandon Winslow. Brandon says, "Now I love this. I love this question. First of all, thanks, Brandon, for saying he made sure to really put something that would make me know I have to screen the question before asking it to you.
Oh, okay.
Because it might be too leading. But actually, Brandon, I don't think it is. So I'm just going to ask it. But I will say this just amounts to Brandon sort of, poking you in the ribs and saying, you were wrong, weren't you? Right? So
Go on.
So the question is, Konrad, now that we have Alt Marta on the scene, how does that impact your theory of Clouder being the Eve to Jonas's Adam?
Oh, yeah, I don't even remember when that was. Hold on, let me reflect.
I don't think you actually put it in the theory matrix. I don't think you did, but that was just a passing idea. We were talking about the symbolism, and I think you did say that I asked you who would be the Eve, and I think
yeah, that's right.
I led you on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah,
although I wasn't leading you to Claudia. Let me just say, I just wanted to know who you thought was Eve, but you said.
Well,
Claudia.
I mean, yeah, Claudia seemed like the most likely candidate at the time.
We know what my theory was based on last week's episode. My theory was that Claudia was going to be like the serpent.
Yes, yeah, which I mean still could be true. I'm still of a mind that Claudia is pretty important in all of this because she seems to be the only one. She seems to be the only one who's actually operating outside of these cycles, so to speak. But I could be wrong. She might just be ballsing everything up for everyone else.
Yeah,
she wouldn't be the first one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I did get it wrong. I mean, come on, like there are plenty. You can go back through the theory matrix, and there is a lot in there that's wrong. Although I stand by mine. Noah has the Philosopher's Stone. I think metaphorically that is correct, if not literally.
Okay. All right. So Vic Disco has entered the chat, and Vic says, he asks, who do you think Alt Hannah is pregnant with? Obviously, come on, it's obviously Peter. Come on,
Peter.
It's Peter. Then, question for both of us from Vic says, I just noticed it tonight after watching the episode 1 again. I'm not sure if any of this has any deeper meaning, but in the classroom scene, after Jonas tries to talk to Alt Marta, and she takes off, she leaves the script for Ariadne on the desk. Jonas was going to pick it up, but he hesitated due to the blood on his hands. What do you think this means, if anything?
I mean, I just interpreted it as a kind of visual metaphor for his relationship with Alt Marta. He doesn't want. He's reticent to engage with her because he knows that the last time he brought Marta in on the time travel stuff, she ended up dying as a result of it, which is how I interpreted that metaphor. Maybe it'll be something more literal than that. Maybe he just didn't want to get blood all over a book. Yeah,
maybe. Vic sort of alludes to something in a question here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's kind of like, and I kind of like think he's onto something here. And he's alluding to the idea that possibly, like, the blood that's on his hands is Marta's blood, right? So the idea being, like, maybe the blood on his hands reflects the red string, and, like, the idea is that, his Ariadne is now gone,
Yeah.
And so now he doesn't have an anchor point in the world anymore. He has no place to go back to, because Marta was always his anchor. So now she's gone. He's a bit lost. It's a little bit like, and I'm sort of adding on to Vic here, but it's a little bit like someone's, while he's in the labyrinth, someone's come along and just cut the string.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely borne out in the performance of Lewis Hoffman in this episode. Like, he seems totally rudderless and not sure of what he's doing anymore, or what his goal even is. So I think there's definitely some credibility to that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, last question comes from Iggy Menzies. As the creators have established, they aren't shy about depicting brutal deaths. Which character or characters does Konrad think will be, or would like to see, subject to such a demise?
Torben. No, I don't really have any characters that I really want to. We talked about this previously, but there isn't really any characters that I really hate in this. There aren't any kind of Joffreys in this show where I can't wait for them to get their comeuppance. Yeah, there's none that I want to see. Dark is quite sparing with its deaths as well. I mean, we've had 4 now, if you don't count Helga. who died and came back from the dead.
Eric, Yasin, although...
I suppose Eric, yeah, I wasn't thinking about the...
Yasin didn't die. But
yeah, Yasin didn't die. I wasn't considering the kids who got sent through the portal. Actually, I was thinking like Marta, Burnt,
Madsy,
Claudia, and
Madsy Nielsen.
Oh well, I wasn't thinking people who got sent back through portals. But yeah,
Oh, you weren't, okay. Well, Noah.
Well, yeah, I mean, just because they're kind of dying, they're kind of dying in transit. But
well, we've seen a lot of gravestones.
That's true. I don't know.
Michael.
I'd kind of like to see... I don't know if... This isn't really in the spirit of the question, but I'd quite like to see Clausen realise that he was being an idiot by kind of pursuing this, like, doggedly this idea he had in his head despite everyone telling him to stop. He annoyed me a bit in the last season. But there's not many that I really want to see get... Did you have any that you really disliked in this show?
Not really. Like, there was, to be honest with you, I never watched shows thinking I'd love them to die, except for Homelander. In The Boys. Although I
came round on Homelander. Like, Stormfront was the real one that I was like, oh, I don't like you.
Oh no, of course. I didn't come round on Homelander. I mean, the man's a rapist, but
yeah.
Like,
I was, to be clear, I wasn't like, that guy's A-okay, but
yeah.
the day it was just like he just became
he's integral to that show. Like, he's integral to the show, yeah. But he's hateful. But there's not really any characters. I don't watch shows like thinking about who's going to die, and I think that actually means when the deaths happen, it affects me more. But yeah. So who do I think is going to die this season? Stay tuned to find out.
All of them.
Yeah,
that's how it ends. Just
put it in the Matrix.
Everyone will be dead by the end of this.
Yeah,
sorry.
That was a big theory for Lost. You know, one of the biggest fan theories was that the only character that was going to be left alive at the end of Lost was the dog Vincent, and he would just be sitting on the island by himself.
That'd be great.
Yeah, Vincent is the leader of the island. Anyway, I just end there. Iggy says, this podcast is brilliant, by the way. Like the show itself, I recommend it to everyone I know with exactly as much success.
Nice. Well, I appreciate the effort.
Well, I appreciate the effort too, and disown those friends. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, guys. That is us for this week. That's all the questions. I didn't have to cut out any this week. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. Actually, no. I say that. I did actually cut one or two because there were questions which we did answer very lengthily in the main episode. So if you didn't see your question asked, it was just because of that. All right, guys. Well, Konrad, any final thoughts for this episode of the After Dark, a podcast?
I'm looking forward to the 1888 episode, basically just being the Prestige. So join me for that, please.
Yeah, that's going to happen. I love the Prestige, so I would be.
Yeah, I do too. So
I would be up for that. And there's a big magical element to this series too.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Michael's going to duplicate himself. We've cracked it.
Yep, exactly. Right, guys. I hope you're all getting excited for Christmas. I am, that's for sure. So I think when this goes out, it's not quite Christmas yet, but soon enough we'll all be there. So guys, thanks very much for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to send us an email, send us a question, adpodmail@gmail.com. Or you can just comment on the videos as well. We do read those comments as well. Try to spoiler tag things because Konrad gets a little nosy. He wants to read them too. And I'm sure, we can have a big chat after we finish the show and just say to Konrad, seriously, were you spoiled on anything? I'm sure the answer's no, but you know what? He can pinpoint who in the comments did it, and you know what? We'll excommunicate those people. Anyway, we'll get them. We'll get them in the end. Right, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the After Dark podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode.